Hello students, welcome to STEM Works. I am your host Bhuvan Verma. This is a special series recorded by WRO India National Organizer, India STEM Foundation. As you are aware, WRO theme for 2022 is My Robot, My Friend. The season challenges are connected to the ways that robots can help humans. Competing WRO teams will build and program robots that can help humans in daily household work, assist in emergency situations like fire, and can take the role of caretaker and transport when required. Students will develop robot models which represent the robot as friend and helper in daily life of people. Today, we have with us a very special guest, a girl in STEM, our own gem, Reetu Jain, founder of On My Own Technologies Private Limited. She has won over more than 55 international awards, including WRO, ISEF, Microsoft Imagine Cup, FLL, FTC, and the list goes on. She has published more than 30 research papers and holds a patent in her name. She has been training students for robotics, automation, innovation, and research for the past 6 years. She has an MBA in marketing with specialization in research and technology. Diving straight into conversation with her, my first question to you, Reetu ji, which WRO competition category is your favorite and why?
You have dived so fast into the conversation without giving me a chance to first thank you and thank India STEM for having this amazing session, because I think it is so important to reach out to so many people who really need to understand the value of STEM, which is not only growing today, but also superbly important in the future. So I must say a great initiative by India STEM to bring, knowledge contributors and link the learners to the knowledge contributors and make it an entire ecosystem that supports STEM, which is so quintessential for the growth of India and the youth overall. So first and foremost, thank you so much. Coming to your question in terms of WRO. So WRO has always been my favorite. Actually, it's the first exposure to STEM as a subject. WRO World Robotics Olympiad sounds really a big name. And it is the only Olympiad, which I must say is actually a gaming platform. And gaming today is so huge in the industry. And it is actually a new way for students to learn concepts hands-on and experience it real time. So for me, WRO is more about enjoying while learning deep concepts, especially for the youth in a very gamified manner. And games, many a times we belittle what games really are. But if you deep dive into games, there are boundaries with respect to the components that you can use, the characters you can use, the rules and regulations that are there, the movements you have to do. The entire environment is very restrictive in that sense. And you have to perform the best within that restrictive environment. So the amount it takes for a student to explore every concept in detail and in depth is one thing that I love about WRO, and the kind of games that it has. It replicates those games to the industry. So if warehousing, if, for example, renewable energy, if it is about water crisis, it actually relates real problems which are there in the world to what students really need to think through. So I think in a lot many ways, WRO replicates what the youth of today should be learning, thinking, and being sensitive to. So it is a holistic offering that WRO brings, and that is what I really enjoy about WRO.
Right. And you hinted about, how WRO helps students learn concepts which either is part of their curriculum or even beyond. My next question is related to that aspect, and our students would like to learn from you. How is STEM related to WRO? What are some of the learnings for the participants in WRO competitions related to STEM?
Uh, okay. So STEM, as everybody knows, is science, technology, engineering, and math. Uh, in WRO, what happens is you bring these interdisciplinary skills into real practice. So if you're doing gears and gear ratios, if you're converting linear motion into a circular motion or vis-a-vis, if you are actually wanting to understand what's the relationship between torque and RPM and movement speed, it's all about that. WRO actually completely personifies STEM in many ways. These interdisciplinary skills that are there are very, very important for the future. One specialization does not actually hold uh, a lot of significance in the years to come, because of automation, because of the way we are dependent so much on technology. WRO is the new age technology skill that it gives you. So STEM actually introduces you, or what is really STEM. I mean, we are just talking about the full form of STEM, but actually STEM is nothing but all new age technology subjects. uh, Tech is going to be like English and math. We are going to be breeding technology, we are going to be breeding using technology, and we are actually using technology on a daily basis, and therefore our careers are all going to be tech based. And if you want to try tech hands on, then using these new age uh, gaming platforms, new age experimenting and exploring platforms, makes it all the more richer in understanding your concepts. So suppose if I'm talking about science, then there are concepts of, I mean, we use microcontrollers in our gaming. We use various sensors, ultrasonic sensor, we use IR sensor, touch sensor. We use all of this and how we integrate it all together. If we're talking about technology, we program these techniques, these mechanisms to achieve various tasks that are assigned. When you're talking about engineering, then how you build the mechanisms to pull, push, uh, lift, drag, drop, all of what really happens in various factories. It happens in your real warehousing concepts. You actually explore all of them. uh, you have to have a fine balance. So when you're doing math, when you code, you have to have the fine balance between timing your bot. You have the quickest path in the least time. How do you manage that? So your program has to be really sacrosanct in order to manage that. So when you integrate this whole thing as a package, your real time being an innovator, your real time being an entrepreneur. And I think these are the new age skills that students should look at. Because we are now slowly, in fact, slowly is not the right word, we are very quickly maturing from academic concepts to real experiential concepts. And that is where the connection is between STEM and WRO, where it is experience meets, you know, uh, your science concepts or math concepts, your textbook concepts, and you end up with great scientific creativity of, wonder.
Absolutely. Rituji, right, you're so right about integrated learning being the gist of national education policy, which intends to, bring all concepts, not just applied sciences, but also language, lexicon, and so on and so forth within the ambit of learning. But, this also brings a lot of challenges for students in the sense they might be wondering, or we have often heard from them actually, how does STEM education differ at school and college level? And is it that it has now become a thing of the past and there is a continuum of education that we are seeing from school to education, which STEM education and competitions like WRO help bring out in students?
Um, See, STEM education in school and college is now gaining a lot of pace. We used to have colleges with labs. We used to have colleges with, real practical experiences. Now it has come to schools, and more so, technology is getting easier, more younger. So you have more younger students adopting to technology really, really very fast. With NEP 2020, where experiential learning has been made compulsory, and especially from grade 6, with specific subjects that we are talking about, I think the definition of subjects in itself has changed in schools and colleges now. uh, when you are talking about, you're talking about C++, you're talking about Python, you're talking about AI models. CBSE is actually introducing AI as a subject in school, in their school curriculum. So when this kind of a transition happens, where you have these new age subjects of design thinking, coding, mechanical construction, all of it coming together, then I think your entire outlook to learning changes. It's more about exploring, it's more about executing, it's more about experimenting, and that's going to be really fast. And it's not no more the future, it's actually the present. So we are already here, and all these changes are really taking place.
Absolutely, they are. These changes are happening all around us, and our students would want to learn from you. How does training for WRO create an advantage or disadvantage for our students?
So training for WRO is basically letting yourself completely loose. In When we used to have our times, and we used to have the craft materials, we used to have beads, we used to have ice cream sticks, we used to have pista shells, we used to have so many of these items. And what you do is, you can just make permutation combination of all of these things and create a beautiful house, and just enjoy watching how colorful and with what beauty you can create. This kind of creativity is now transformed into scientific creativity. So when you have all the possible beams with you, you have gears with you, you have motors with you, you have um, um, you can build gear hubs, you have different types of connectors, to the extent that you have universal connector with you. You can make gear hubs, you can have small wheels, big wheels, uh, you can have all sorts of angle connectors, edge connectors, plates, name it in the world, and it's there with you. Then I think even imagination will fall short of how much you can really create with it. And when you have to play around with this, I mean, and you get rewarded for it, I don't think it can be better than enjoying your learning process while doing and executing all of this. So basically with WRO, I think uh, making so many different things, Most importantly, I think the biggest beauty is that there is one single challenge and you have so many solutions to that one challenge. When the child is living through that one challenge, he sees his way, his perspective of solving the challenge. But what if I didn't start from here and start from another place? What if I didn't end here and end it in another place? What if I didn't take a right and I take a left? All the what ifs of the world can be explored. And after going to the challenge, when he sees all the what ifs getting executed in front of him, it's an entire rainbow of ideas, executions, and learning. So I think basically these competitions are not about just yourself, solving a challenge and learning. It's about an entire ecosystem that comes with solving the same problem in so many different ways. We as coaches get, quite baffled at times to see so many amazing solutions. And it's a lot of appreciation for the kind of smart thinking, for the kind of different thinking that comes to the table. So that's the fun part of it, actually.
Absolutely, an advantage all the way to all the boys and girls who aspire to participate in WRO. There is no disadvantage as far as I can see. Not only does it relate to the curriculum, but also, it helps mold ideas that these students might have in their mind into actual reality. Which brings me to the next question that I have for you.
Only one thing is,
Please.
there is one disadvantage. And the disadvantage is that students become so logical in their thinking that they just cannot mug up after a point. If you get used to using your hands and experimenting things, then you need logic for whatever that you're doing and you keep thinking about it. So then you stop by hearting things, then you start questioning. So I think uh, it may be a disadvantage, but for our the way we used to learn earlier, so it's unlearning that. But I definitely feel that's the way to go in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely, Meenaji. See, your thoughts are so relatable, and in fact, even echoed in the Constitution of India, which is a unique document in the world, which encourages its citizens as part of their fundamental duties to pursue a scientific temper. And when you say that children then expect to pursue logical activities, they give up rote learning, is something that even the biggest of institutions in India and the most energized teachers like you are instilling in all the students. So hats off to you. And that disadvantage is really not a disadvantage, I feel. Okay, moving on to my next question to you. What is the theme of WRO this year, and what does it mean to you, without giving away any any tricks or tips that you may have on
No,
your
I
side?
have lots of tips. So,
Okay.
this world is so huge, and innovation is such a subject that you cannot hold to yourself. The more you share, the more you read, the more you explore, you only get better at it. So, when you talk about my robot, my friend, as a topic, it just shows how technology has to be a friend. So, in many ways, it is today our friend. You can't do without your mobile phone. You just can't do without ordering stuff. You can't do without elevators. You can Any automated machine today is a robot. Any machine that helps you do your job quicker, easier, faster is basically a robot. And uh, and the minute you give it a status of it being my friend, it just shows how much it's going to be a part of your world. So the faster you decide to create these kind of robots which are your friend, to solve your problems, um, it is it's only going to take you forward. So you can create anything in this world, from a medical assistant to a military assistant to even making your food to, I just have my next building getting painted, and I saw the painter with the brush going up and down, and on the ninth floor. And I was wondering, if this is the only stroke and there are such wide spaces which are open, almost 80% can be done with a simple machine, and students can build it on their own. So you can actually build a
Yeah.
machine that can do, and not put humans at risk climbing 9 floors and painting that building in that fashion. So it is just for you to look around and you will get ideas. So I don't think you need to, the topic is so beautiful that anywhere you see, and I don't mind having a session on giving 200 ideas for this subject, because it is one of the most beautiful topics that you can explore. If you want to draw, if you want to, if I just want a dental checkup to be done, I can make a device that can check my entire denture with image processing and figure out how much cavity, tartar, and plaque I have. I want to check my eyes. I can, so any kind of medical assistant you can think of. You can also, students can think of making checking your heart rate and oxygen saturation to predict how good your health is during these COVID times. So kids can really make, students can make wearable gadgets. They can make movable gadgets. They can make just anything they want to explore in this particular subject.
Absolutely. I mean, this holds so true. Technology actually helps humans evolve to the stage we are now, from a humble mortar and pestle that became Shiv and Parvati to, the mobile devices that we can't detach ourselves from, are
So
all
true.
are all helping us remove drudgery, as you indicated, from the single stroke movement that individual is doing, or the pedal rickshaw that has now moved on to a battery operated vehicle.
Very good.
Technology is helping us remove drudgery and evolve ourselves into better human beings who can emote better at others' challenges. And that brings me to my next question. What was the challenge, WRO challenge that you participated in last year? And what did your team create?
Oh, lovely. It's such a nice question. I would love to speak about it. Basically, with respect to WRO, we participate in all categories because there's no boundary to what you want to do. So when it comes to your gaming category, my favorite is Robo Soccer, and even the innovations category, which is also my favorite. I have been participating every year, and Touchwood have been going international. So thanks to me covering some part of the globe is because of WRO. So I remember my students winning the first Future Innovators Award at Costa Rica. Was for a project called Trailon, where they wanted to save fuel. So they made a 4-wheel drive into an 8-wheel drive, and they actually trailed the second, so replicating the concept of a train. The next WRO, I think we created a packaging unit out of banana leaf. It was a complete automated packaging unit where we used UV sterilizing. We sterilized the banana leaf. By the way, there's a very important fact over here is that the banana plantation bears fruit only once. So after it bears fruit, the entire tree is cut down. So we use the leaves for packaging as an automated process, and it was one of the best received projects. last time we won Hungary, we got gold for India, where we devised a pothole detecting mechanism where we were actually geotagging the potholes, and you could see, so how you see traffic on the roads, you can actually see potholes on the roads, and you can make the decision if you want to take that road or no, if you have senior citizens with you. And most importantly, we had the BMC who acknowledged the project and said it was a fantastic job, because 60% of the cost goes in detecting potholes, estimating the amount of material used, and then do the logistics planning of fixing the pothole. So when you give that entire package to them, they said our 60% of our costs get saved because of this. Last year, we again won in the innovations category. Was we made a solar, the topic was on renewable energy, and therefore we made a solar panel which could be used from on both sides, because otherwise you have solar only during summers, whereas here during the rains with piezoelectric sensors, when you have water droplets falling on it, we would create energy there. So then it is the solar panel being used in 2 seasons out of the 3 in India versus just one. So uh, these are some of the projects that I thought I'll just speak to you about.
Absolutely. I mean, having interviewed so many teams, champions, and mentors, I must tell them that, here is a team, a teacher, a mentor who is out to take panga and who encourages her students to, come up with innovative ideas. And yes, banana paper, besides being a renewable resource that can be used over and over again because it's an annual crop, it's also water retardant, water resistant, and fire resistant. So, India is the second largest banana producer in the world, and the top banana producer in Southeast Asia. We turn over more than 70 billion in that, and other ideas as well. The pothole idea that you shared is something that ISRO should take up, so that it can it can use its imagery to identify which potholes are there. Kudos to you, Rituji. And moving on to my next question, our students would like to learn from you. What qualities does competition like World Robot Olympiad still instill in a student who participate?
I think the biggest quality for participating in a competition like WRO is uh, two qualities that come to my mind. One is perseverance, for sure, because the amount of times they have to run the bot again and again and again and again and again and again. I think that's the biggest quality, and that is what this new generation really needs to learn. The perseverance to troubleshoot and keep bettering your best is the first quality that I think WRO instills into you. The second biggest quality, I think, is the eye for detail, because the detailing that you need to understand, the depth with which you need to study your bot in terms of how it is running, in terms of how you've programmed it, in terms of how the coordination between programming and mechanism is working. Uh, where is that little fixation that is required? And because of that little fixation, you need to reopen the whole bot and redo the whole thing all over again. And then again observe it to see whether the kind of performance that you're really looking at is there or not there. I think these are the two most important qualities that instills in the students. Because it is a game, I think you learn to fail, when you are working in such kind of an environment. And I think this generation, this new age generation, does not like to fail. They have not seen so many failures. And to explore failures, this is a fabulous platform. So it's not, life is not about winning. Life is about failing and then coming back, So I have had so many students that have failed, and my only thing to them is, so what? Work on it again and come back next year. See if you can make a comeback. The winning is in coming back. The It's not about just evaluating yourself on a certain performance. So I think these are life skills that you learn when you explore the game, and I think that's very key for all the students.
Thank you, Ritu, for sharing insights, tips, experiences with our student viewers. We hope they will find their moment of meaning in this STEM Works session. As you know, this session of STEM Works was curated by India STEM Foundation, the national organizer of World Robot Olympiad in India. World Robot Olympiad is an event for science, technology, and education, which brings together young people all over the world to develop their creativity and problem-solving skills through challenging and educational robotics competitions. Schools are invited to enter a team of 3 students to participate in this competition. Participating teams need to create, design, and build a robot model that looks and behaves like a human athlete. The competition progresses from preliminary to final judging stages. Please visit our website indiastemfoundation.org or WRO India 2022 on your web browser. For more details, links are in the description. Till the next time we meet you in another STEM Works session, keep tinkering and share this video with parents and peers. Thank you.